What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges with you on a bitterly cold Saturday evening. Central Florida, we did it. It was a small chance, but we did it. Couple of flurries spotted in Daytona Beach. This is where this video taken not too long ago is coming in from. Thank you to Michelle Jones in Daytona Beach. You see it right there. Just a few subtle flakes flying in Daytona Beach among the clear sky there. We do have a few passing clouds, but very shallow deck of moisture, enough to get a few flurries as this blast of Arctic air has blasted right on through Central Florida. So we officially got some flurries across the board. I want to show you also the snow reports. It wasn't just in Daytona. We had several more in Jacksonville, and then also on the Gulf Coast. That was the best opportunity, relatively speaking, for some flakes. And in between Lutz and Zephyr Hills, we had a few snowflakes being reported closer to Spring Hill, and then closer to Crystal River. Just south of us in Denellen, we came oh so close in Marion County. And then Williston, just on the Alachua County line, we did have a few, I think, flakes reported in Alachua County that aren't showing up on the official storm report, flurry report map right there. But nonetheless, we have observed snow in Central Florida, most of it just to the west of Sumter County, but then this amazing sight here in Daytona Beach. Again, thank you so much to Michelle Jones for shooting this moment here of the flakes flying in the foreground of the palm tree. Just crazy stuff. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody is doing well this evening as we are tracking this big-time blast of Arctic air. But the big news is, guys, we did it. It was a small shot. There was an opportunity to do so, but we observed flurries in Central Florida. Thank you so much to Michelle Jones for taking this in Daytona Beach and capturing the moment of a few stray flakes flying in the foreground of this palm tree here in Daytona Beach. Again, it was subtle. It was short-lived, but we did it. We saw some snow, flurries in Central Florida. I want to show you this too. We talked about all week that the better opportunity was going to be closer to the Gulf Coast, right along I-75. There are 4 snowfall reports from the Gulf side of the state, just between Zephyr Hills and Lutz, north of Tampa. There have been a couple unconfirmed reports that I've seen in downtown Tampa. Also, some light flurries, some melting snowflakes as the official report came in around Spring Hill, and then closer to Crystal River, just south of us in Marion County in Denellen. So that's where some of the snowflake reports came in. There was a nice little burst of snow up in Jacksonville. Didn't last too terribly long. There was sunshine out there as well. But still, we got some flakes again in Florida. There were some even bigger flakes closer to Tallahassee again. That was early in the afternoon as this front came through. But again, as the temperatures are plummeting at this hour, we saw some flakes across part of Central Florida. Most went without, but we saw some flakes across the board. That was taken about 7:45 this evening, so just about an hour and a half ago, give or take. The other, obviously, bigger deal is the fact that our temperatures are plummeting very, very fast now. We're at 35 in Sanford. These are actual air temperatures. We're at 36 degrees in Orlando. We're shaving about 4 or 5 degrees off almost every hour. 32 in Denellen, already at the freezing mark. Ocala, we're at 33. Palm Bay, we're at 41. Titusville, we're hanging tight in the 40s as well. Cocoa Beach, we are at 44 degrees. Factor in the wind, though. And this is what is really awful out there. If you've been outside, 25 degrees in Denellen, 26 in Ocala. That's again how it feels with that very strong wind, about 30-ish miles per hour at times. That's really been the big deal. We've been talking about that all week too, that once you felt the wind, that's when you knew the cold front was knocking on the door. And we're going to keep the wind elevated like this all evening long through the overnight into tomorrow as well, and that's what's going to add the insult to injury to the chill that is kind of settling into Central Florida as we speak. Look at these wind gusts in Melbourne and Mico right now. As of 9 o'clock tonight, we have gusts pushing 50 miles an hour. In Gainesville earlier today, we had wind gusts pushing 60 miles an hour. So this front, in more ways than one, means business. I mean, we've already talked about this. It's delivering the coldest air that we've seen since 2010. And the wind gusts now at the Orlando International Airport at about 36 miles an hour. The colder air continues to spill down into Central Florida. We feel it. We've been feeling it since what, about noon today? And then really ramping up over the past couple of hours. We're at 36 in Orlando, 28 in Tallahassee. It's at 27 in Pensacola as that blast continues to work its way down the Florida peninsula tonight. Extreme cold warning in effect as we speak. This stays in effect through early tomorrow afternoon. The worst of this, obviously, right before the sun comes up this morning for the first few hours of the overnight, as our wind chills are going to dip to dangerously low levels back to the single digits and teens. That's wild stuff for Florida. So Woe brings up a good question here. He says, how does the Panhandle get snow as often now? Doesn't the Gulf help to keep those cities warm? It does, but when you get you have to have, if you have an area of low pressure going south, north of that low is the colder air, and they at least have land above them to drain the cold air into. It's really hard to get any kind of snow like what they saw last year or even this year with the dusting of snow, because we have water on all sides. So if the wind direction isn't completely perfect, either you're bringing in air that's way too dry and you can't get snow, or you're bringing in air that's way too warm if it's out over the water. So Pensacola, Tallahassee, all that stuff in the Panhandle of North Florida, they at least, if they had that north wind coming in on the northern side of an area of low pressure, that is where, that's how they get it. So extreme cold warning, again, in effect as we speak. This is going to stay in effect until we get into tomorrow. We're going to have another one come into play on for Sunday night into Monday morning. So this is a multi-night round of very cold air. This is what we wake up to tomorrow. Denellen, we're flirting with the teens. Same for us in Ocala. We're at 24 degrees in Mount Dora, 26 in Kissimmee, 24 in Palm Bay, 27 degrees in Mico. Wind chills tomorrow when you wake up. Teens in Lakeland, 13 in Melbourne, 8 in Palm Coast, 8 in Gainesville, 10 in Ocala. I see we have a lot of new people joining on the YouTube side of things. If you missed it when we started off the live stream, I want to show this to you here. This is the snow. It's very subtle, but look closely. You'll see some of the bigger flakes just float across the screen in front of the palm tree there. That was in Daytona Beach just before 8 o'clock tonight. Thank you again to Michelle Jones for sending that in to News 6. Fantastic sight there to see. The snow chance is very low going forward. I think we missed out on the rest. There still could be a few areas right along the Gulf Coast. Here is, looks like Spring Hill might have been the winner. There's 2 reports around Spring Hill, but here is where the snow reports came in at about 5 to 7 o'clock tonight, right along the Gulf Coast. So that is where we saw the snow again. It was close in Lakeland. There may have been a few stray flakes. Sorry, I'm not showing the right screen. My bad. This is where we saw the snowflakes, those little snowflake icons. That is what came in again, kind of paralleling I-75. That's where we thought they would kind of be if we were going to get them all week. And it still could be snowing out there. There still could be some stray flakes because, again, the deal with tonight is we're bringing that cold air right over the Gulf so we can have those lake effect, Gulf effect snowflakes develop and then move on to shore. It would be in this kind of direction. So Lakeland, we're not completely out of the opportunity to see some flakes tonight. I think it's on the lower side. But until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I think we will have that very subtle chance for some flakes. Now, the one deal with this is because the cold air is so shallow, it's not showing up on radar. At least it hasn't been. So like there could be stuff going on now, and there's a few returns around Tampa. But that's likely just ground clutter. And the stuff from Daytona Beach that I showed you just a minute ago, that one really, that never showed up on radar at all. We were combing the radar like crazy. And again, just knowing that this is the cold air is so shallow that it can just develop very, very quick. But nonetheless, a sight to see. We're scouring the radar now to see if there's any kind of very, very small returns, and there's just nothing out of the Tampa area. Let's see here. Trying to see if that's ground clutter. That could be something. That could be something. That is out there, though. Not too many people live there where that is. This west of O'Galley. Might be trying to get some flakes to try to develop there. There's some right there. There's a teeny tiny little radar return there. Just right around Christmas. See that little white pop right there? So if anybody happens to be living around Wedgefield or Christmas tonight, call them up because there could be a few stray flakes there. I don't know if that's just some ground clutter. It doesn't look like it because it just popped up and you can track the progression. It started here as like a little thing over Guy Road right there, and then it ended up as snow. So I mean, I think we have a flurry live. We caught a flurry in East Orange County right now, just south of Bithlo. So if you know anybody that lives out there, south of Colonial, that's crazy. So there we go. Still keeping a very small opportunity. Trying to see, look real in here, just looking for some stuff to pop up. Not seeing too much or anything. But yeah, I think we have a little flurry going on in East Orange County. So if anybody's watching from East Orange, hit me up. Let me know if you see some snowflakes out there. Because it could be like a little burst going on. Coming up towards Taylor Creek Road. Cool stuff. That's awesome. Okay, so we caught a flurry live on TV or on the streaming thing. You could still be watching on TV. I think your chances are super low in New Smyrna, but it just happened up the road in Daytona, so that's going to be the other thing. The wind. A couple of questions about power outages. Let me go and check those out. We've had power outages tonight. There haven't been too many, which is obviously a good thing. Let me stop the ones in Marion County have been taken care of, but now we have 1,500 people without power in Daytona. In Orange County, we have 100. We have 100 in Brevard. We have 100 in Polk. So Daytona Beach, we do have a decent amount of power outages. And again, I don't know if this is from the wind, which has been gusting to 40 to 50 miles an hour, or I don't know if it's for energy consumption. That I don't know. I know our news desk has been in constant communication with the power companies for you guys to make sure everything's going in, and we have been getting good reports from them that it seems to be the wind. Doing that, and the crews are working really hard to restore power, obviously, on a very, very cold night. What's going on, Florida Man Racer? Been checking periodically in the villages, see if there's flurries. See nothing. It's so sporadic and it's so intermittent. It's really, really hard. But if you do find something, please let me know because I'm interested. And again, we're flying blind on the radar because it's such a shallow layer of colder air, and you could even get it with you can even get it when there's hardly any cloud in the sky, as we saw again in the Daytona view here. We'll go back and play that while I look at some questions. Yes, there is a shot for water lines freezing in Orlando. Definitely, if they are exterior and not protected. So just be mindful of that if you do have any exterior lines, or if you let your house too cold. Again, I think that the danger zone from what we've been talking about on some of these live streams has been is like don't let your house get down to like 55, 56 because a lot of the Florida homes are not built for this cold. They're just not. Um, and the lines are in crawl spaces or on the outside lines. So, as I mentioned last night and really all week, if there is an iota of a concern that your pipe might freeze, just run it at a little drip, and then keep those cabinet doors open under the sink and under the bathroom to let some of the heat from the house come in. And it's not a night like I'm a cheap person. I would consider myself like when it comes to the heat, like I would rather endure. My heat is on and it's in the recommended number because um I just don't want to I'd rather pay the higher bill for the electric bill than have to deal with the pipe bursting or something like that. So again, if you have any kind of concern, just go ahead and do that. Eustace and Umatilla, I don't want to say there's zero chance, but it's pretty low. We caught one stray flurry. There might be one. There might be one in Azalea Park. If you're, does anybody happen to be tuning in from Azalea Park tonight? Azalea Park, Union Park. There might be another one. Whoops. Sometimes I forget to go back. There it is. We've got another flurry. This is by the executive airport here. So I wonder, I'm going to love to see if the airport is seeing that. Mr. Neighbor Peterson, if you see a snowflake, let me know. If you see a snowflake, let me go and let me know. This is like right by the airport. Executive, off of North Cimarron and East Colonial. So crazy stuff. Again, we might have another little one. Let's check out. Let's see if our little flake is still flying around Bithlow. I think it's gone. Oh, poor little guy. Let's see. Yeah, it didn't last too long. I've seen some video from Tampa of some flakes flying in Tampa. Hold on, I'm going to post on my Facebook page to see. Okay, I just wanted to post on my Facebook in case somebody's watching from just to see if I can get any reports in while we're here live, just to see. Crazy stuff. There's nothing showing up on radar, but again, it's so shallow that it's going to be really hard to even catch it on it's going to be really hard to catch it on radar. Like there's a few like I think that's ground clutter in there. I did see a little quick burst in Tampa. Saw flurries in Bradenton. There, it looked like there was that shot. There was some of those actually on radar a little bit ago. Elizabeth, I don't know. I mean, there's a small possibility that you could lose power tonight. It's not. It should not be that widespread. But we do have 1,500 people without power in Volusia County right now. So there was. It's still showing up green, but that's what it came through as in Bradenton. Right there. So at about 6:30, they would have gotten some of those light snow showers. I don't think it. No, that was Tallahassee snow is now over. Tampa area, yep, got the confirmation there. And there is all the snowflake reports just west of I-75. There's a bunch up here too, so I don't know why the storm reports haven't gone official yet from the Weather Service. Let me just refresh my Facebook page and see. No one's posted yet. I want to see some snowflakes. Again, if you're just tuning in, keep on going back to this. That was Daytona Beach. About 2 hours ago, give or take. And again, it's not much, but there were flakes in Daytona Beach. Crazy. Awesome stuff tonight there as we were watching this in. Okay, if you're joining also, I want to get into the other stuff. Obviously, the snow is a big deal. It's crazy. We got some of the flake activity in Central Florida, but the wind is the other big deal. This is something we highlighted all week long, that you would know when that front crossed by the time the wind started picking up. That's when it gets a little rowdy out there. And we're still talking about wind gusts north of 40 miles an hour in Palm Coast. We're still pushing 50 miles an hour in Mico and in Mico and in Melbourne. Winter Haven gusting to 32 miles an hour. I don't think there's going to be frost in Fort Lauderdale tonight because the wind is going to be too strong. You need to have the wind pretty calm to get frost to settle in. It's going to be cold enough for frost, but I don't think it develops because of the wind staying elevated. Kissimmee, we're at 37 mile per hour gust. Sanford, we're at 41 still. Daytona Beach, we're gusting to 40. So, I mean, these winds mean business. And again, that is transporting this Arctic air mass right on down the Florida peninsula. Extreme cold warning in effect for basically the entire state, as most of us are waking up to wind chills in the single digits and teens tomorrow. These are the actual air temperatures. 20 degrees in Denellen, 22 in Palm Coast, 27 in Mico. This is tomorrow morning. Coldest morning since 2010 across most of Central Florida. I would say a 1% chance. I would say a 1% chance. Yeah, I don't think it's much higher than that. But again, there are some flakes right now in Orange County. Snowflakes. Kimberly, where are you at again? Where that brush fire is? I know my dog did the same thing this afternoon. It was like it did not want the wind. My dog did not like the wind. Sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze. Didn't want to sneeze in front of you guys. I know that's why I keep on saying like the weather snowflakes. I only want the weather snowflake report. So I guess I should just say flurries or snow showers. But they're not really snow showers. That's too aggressive. 36 in Orlando, 28 in Tallahassee, Miami. We are at 54 degrees. Um, Kimberly, if you let me know, I forget where you are again. If you can let me know where that brush fire is, that would be fantastic. The winds will continue all night long tonight, and they will continue into the early afternoon tomorrow as well. I'll show you the wind forecast. This is going to be for tomorrow. This is just for the greater Central Florida area, and you do see it backing off a little bit. However, still by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we have wind gusts of about 20 to 25 miles an hour and 22 at midnight. And all right, this guy's going into timeout because I'm trying to have a conversation with people. Confirm. Sorry, Fort Lauderdale, you're in timeout. Um, and I can't tell you when it's gonna if it hasn't done it already, you've lost the best opportunity for it. For the next couple of hours, you may be able to get in on a very brief passing flurry, but it is going to be so hard to do right now. So hard to do. I'm just looking. For Lakeland, um, she's up in Interlaken. That the fire is up in Interlaken. Um, that's pretty much all you have to do to look at it. To try to find the snow. It's again, it is few and far between. Um, Lakeland, we're gonna be the same deal. We are going to be talking about air temperatures tomorrow in the mid 40s. That's after a start. There's the wind chill tomorrow morning at about 13 in Lakeland. Um, so it's going to continue to be cold, and it's not going to be until Thursday that we get out of this. Maybe Wednesday afternoon, we'll start into the 40s. A warm 33 in Wildwood. This is Ivy. Can you please tell how bad it's going to be at Kissimmee, Poinciana, if it's possible? Hey, sure. Tonight, it's going to get down into the single digits and teens. So our wind chill going to be around 12. In Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Celebration, Poinciana area. It's going to stay gusty all night. That's one thing that we're going to keep going forward as well. 31 in Umatilla on the thermometer. So it's going to be really cold in Poinciana and Kissimmee tonight. The stray flake should stay back to the west. I don't think there's going to be ice on the roads. We didn't really have any moisture come through it. And if we were the places that did, the wind would have dried that up pretty quick. I know that there was some spots on one of the bridges in Jacksonville that FHP was looking at for some ice up in Jacksonville, but that's about it. There's nothing in the greater Central Florida area, and we didn't really get the moisture to it um, to really to freeze anything. So it should be fine with any kind of black ice or anything like that. Thanks, Randy, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in tonight, hanging out with us for a little bit as we're tracking this crazy Florida freeze. This, I mean, as if this was a rare, this is definitely a rare occurrence. I don't know that it's going to be occurring more often than not. It's been a long time since we've been this cold, but we've had snow in Florida 2 years in a row. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing. This is such a shallow layer that the snowflakes are going to try to develop in that I'm not. I mean, it's so hard. Like I don't even know. Like it's probably see like just right here. You can track it. There may have been a flurry. Again, we are grasping at straws here. Like we're tracking this like it's a tornado or something. Like, all right, from Azalea Park on this road, here is a flurry sliding down this way just outside of the airport. I mean, it's crazy. We are on Flurry Watch 2026, and we did get some in Daytona Beach. But yeah, I do think this is a flurry. So I'd be interested to see if anybody is in this general area. Looked like there might have been just a little push tonight, and that's really about it. Um, but hey, we're in Florida and we're looking for flurries. Like it doesn't happen in at least the set in the peninsula. So we're having some fun tonight. Flurry Watch 2026. Make that the hashtag. I don't really see anything else anywhere. And again, that doesn't mean it's not there. The radar beam could be shooting up over it. So the radar might not be detecting it. What's going on, Jody? I, I I know. So you had the Florida Man Racer says, "Got to be honest. I used to get 6 feet of snow in 8 hours off the Great Lakes in the Syracuse area. The concept of Flurry Watch 2026 is hilarious." No, I know. I'm with you. But hey, it's fun. We got to keep ourselves entertained, right? When it's cold outside. So we're looking real hard. But there it is, a little speck. That might give you 8 snowflakes an hour, let alone 8 feet. No, those lake effect snowstorms are crazy and no joke. Let's take a look at the Tampa radar to see if anything is popping up. Nothing over in the Tampa. I mean, again, in this, it's so there was stuff falling. There was stuff falling in the Tampa area. And let me check. I'm going to check our pins page. That's the other thing too. If you do catch anything, if you're outside, I'm going to say storm chasing the snow flurries out there, um, hit me up. Hit pins up. Click Orlando.com/pins. I'm gonna try to see if there's any new ones. I just checked like 15 minutes right before we got on. So, geez, we've been talking for 35 minutes. I have no recollection of time. All right, let's go back. I'm just talking to myself. Okay, I don't see any pins of flurries. If it's a small body of water, it'll freeze over. Like maybe something in a bucket, you might get ice in it if it's outside. Yeah, and Anthony, they had more than snow flurries. They could like right on their car hoods. That was a crazy one back in the 70s. Yeah, I don't see anything down by Golden Gate. That's probably. Let me check what the surface temperature down there is. I think they're still in the 40s, so that's probably not going to be snow. Yeah, they're still at 48, so that's spec there. What's going on, Timothy? If you leave your mother-in-law outside, she might. I would not recommend that tonight. All right, now we're getting fun on the chat. It's probably for a while, honestly. The question is, how long is it supposed to be cold? This brutal stuff lasts through Tuesday. We start to really, I'm going to call it through Wednesday morning. We start off above freezing, I think, for the most of us Wednesday morning. And then we're going to be, and that's so it's funny. I was just going to get into that. KJS So Funny said, what about the other system? And that's going to bring our temperatures back down again once we get into the next side, the next part of the end of next work week. Okay, hold on. I got to see if it might be ground clutter. Yeah, that's probably ground clutter. See how those two like popped up at the same time? We'll wait to see if there's any movement there. That's probably ground clutter. Laser focus tonight. I'm trying to find you guys some flurries. Okay, hold the phone. Got one there and one there. Let's keep an eye on that for like the next radar radar loop to see. Hold up, look at this, guys. Let's see if we have something here. Got a little speck, little speck, little speck. I wonder what ignited that that fire, because the winds are certainly pushing it. But I wonder what ignited it. Have to check. I saw some radar returns up there. It looks like the radar was trying to pick up on it, because sometimes you can see the smoke plume on radar. Frost is not likely tonight because of the wind. Ice isn't either. You have to have water. I mean, ice on maybe some shallow water surfaces because we are going to get that cold. But we will get the freeze again. So anything that's out there, plant wise, pipe wise, isn't protected is going to freeze. We're going to get down to 32 degrees or colder. I mean, 32 is going to be warm compared to where we're going. No doubt about it. The dew points are super low, and that's the thing, and that's why it's so incredibly hard. And that's the part that we had the front come through, and it brought in the drier air. That's why we need the wind this way over the Gulf, because as that happens, when you get warm air on top of, or they get cold air on top of the warm water, it starts to make some instability. And you generate lift, and then that continues in on land until it gets dry enough, and then it evaporates. Let me see here. Trying to look to see if they have any updates on that interlock and fire. So it looks like the one, I don't know if this one is it, but it is an active fire, 0% contained, 350 acres burned as of 131/26, the Pace Court fire. And that's up in Interlaken. Doesn't have a cause or anything. I love that. Squire Boone 7616. Snow plows on the golf cart paths in the villages as we speak. Now, wouldn't that be a sight? No, I don't think we'd have to get. The question was, is there a potential for areas of the lakes in Lake County to freeze over? No, that water is still way too warm. Like it takes some time, even for like in Minnesota, for those lakes to freeze over. KJS, so funny. Where are you tuning in from? That the model's underperformed? That's a great question. So if this happened on a school day with the cold and wind, would the schools have canceled or no? I don't think that they're closing on Monday morning, and it's going to be in the same ballpark, although the wind is going to be much better. So the wind is going to back off significantly for Monday. It's still going to be really cold, um, but the wind is going to back off. So that's a good question. I would have to think probably they would have at least delayed it because, I mean, single digits and teens is pretty crazy. Did I say something different, Kimberly? Sorry, I might have misspoke. I've got so many towns going through my head. Okay, so Meme Studio says absolutely not. There was one day I used to work in Minnesota and the governor closed all the schools because it got down to 60 below. That's a little different. That'll kill you in like 10 minutes if you're not bundled up. It's gonna be. I mean, it's when you say freezing, do you just mean cold or like below freezing? Because um, it will be cold all day tomorrow. We're only staying in the mid 40s, but the winds have already hit Orlando. The winds have definitely hit Orlando. All right, timeout, troll of the hour, nothing burger. That's like the dumbest phrase ever, nothing burger. Like, what do you mean nothing burger? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, yeah, that's where I was looking at up in Putnam County. 34 at Epcot. Nope, not way too dry at all. It's just you. It's not do you can still with a dew point of 19 for sure. You need the air to be dry somewhat. Someone's only visiting this planet. I guess the chat gets weird after 9:30. Holy cow. Maybe I got to move the show time. This is getting interesting. Jacksonville got some snow also. Yes, they did. 36 in New Smyrna Beach. Let's see here. We're going to wait till the 10 o'clock observation comes in, and then I got to run to get ready for the 11 o'clock news. But we're going to hang out here probably for another 10, 15 minutes or whatever as Flurry Watch 2026 continues. Maybe 9:30 on a Saturday. I'm telling you, if you want to see this chat, I've got a show every single night, Monday through Friday on this channel at 9:30. Be here and we're gonna party as Flurry Watch 2026 comes to an end. But holy cow, we're gonna keep this going. It is still super windy in Orlando. Let's go. For all those that are just joining us tonight, we have a ton of people on the YouTube page. Shout out to everybody watching on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 weather app, on the News 6 app, and everywhere we are tonight. Thank you a ton for being here on a very cold evening. That's what you're waking up to on Sunday morning. This is what the actual air temperature is. Let's take you to the wind gusts. So here we are. This is all going to update. We're going to get a fresh new observational run in about 10-ish minutes. Not the case, PM 5206. We actually just had a report from Daytona Beach at about 8 o'clock or just before of some flurries. I had the video to prove it. And we also had some radar returns coming through of some flurries. So we actually have some flurries out there as we speak. But there were the flurries in Daytona Beach. That was just before 8 o'clock tonight, which, again, gives you a little hope that if you want to see a flurry, that there is still going to be that chance. The air is very dry, but the air is very dry. The cold air layer is shallow, so it doesn't really show up on the radar that well. Let's go through some things, and we're going to come back here to the temperature map in about 10 minutes. I want to see man, this chat is getting wild. Hold on. Do we have an alien in the chat? You humans will be fine. It's just a simple dramatic weather for 3 planet Earth days. Man. I thought the heat did crazy stuff to people. All right. So let's get back. That was, for those watching on News 6 Plus, that was a chat, or that was a comment on the YouTube page. I'm not losing my mind. Okay. So these are the actual air temperatures now. So I'm anxious to see what the drop is. This was as of 9 o'clock. So we get these observations every hour. They normally come in at about 55 minutes. Grand Island and Lake County, you're going to be in the lower 20s tomorrow. Got you at about 22 degrees. And the wind chill probably about like 9 to 10 for Grand Island, Lake County tomorrow. There you go, Florida Man Racer. There you go. Nice. CW got a coat for Christmas. I mean, look, busting out all the winter gear tonight. Man, that fire must be awful in Interlaken. That snow is now long gone for the Georgia line. That was going to be earlier today, so that snow is gone. That was part of that bigger system that's up towards the Carolinas now. It did snow before. Hey, I mean, the chat's entertaining. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with me tonight and talking about the weather as we're forecasting this pretty crazy cold. I mean, again, it's the coldest since 2010, 16 years. So those are the current air temperatures. This is the current, that's going to be what we're dealing with tomorrow. Or, sorry, this is the wind chill. The winds will die down a little bit tomorrow. Here is that wind forecast for tomorrow. We're going to keep things gusty to start. It's going to be gusty all night. It's going to be gusty through the first half of tomorrow. And it's still going to be in that breezy to gusty category through the evening. So you see 10 to 12 mile per hour gusts. It's much better than where we are now in the 40 to 50 range. But yeah, I see it being pretty gusty through the first half of the day. And then by the evening tomorrow, we are gradually going to watch those temperatures come back down, or the wind speed come back down a little bit. Look how cold it is in Atlanta and Birmingham. That's all coming this way. Um, frostbite, excuse me, is definitely. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking a lot tonight. Sorry about that, guys. Um, it's still snowing in the Carolinas, but by the time you would get there, it would be over. Like, there's all the big snow reports. Look at that. Let me turn the radar back on. And let me get all these storm reports off. So there's the snow. So there's where you would have to go to see some snow right now. There's a few flakes, but they would be gone by the time you got there. And then closer to Savannah and then into Charleston. Marky D 48. We should pretty much break records almost everywhere tonight. The records are in the mid to in the upper 20s. So we have records forecast across a big chunk of the area. We actually tied a record today in Melbourne, our record cool high temperature as the coolest for the day. But we can break several, and I'm anxious to see what we get down to tonight. Let's check a look at this radar. Do we see any blue anywhere? Anybody see any blue? Please pass question. Are we going to see snow in Kissimmee? I don't think so. I don't think you're gonna see I don't think you're gonna see flakes in Kissimmee. Yes, there is record cold tonight. There is definitely record cold tonight. Frostbite is definitely, and the thing with frostbite is the time to get frostbite is on exposed skin, so you then limit the chances when you put layers on. That's going to be the deal with the layers. So when you layer up, it helps prevent that as well. I don't know. It's not too warm right now. It's the cold air is coming in maybe even a little bit faster than expected. So there's a difference between radiational cooling, which is what we'll do tomorrow night, versus advecting is what we're doing right now. So we're pushing that in. So we shave off hours upon hours when the temperature drops like that. So that's why I'm anxious to see where we stand. But I mean, we're at 36 in Kissimmee. We're at 36 in Orlando. The record, I believe, is 28. West Central Florida may still have a chance. I don't know. I've not seen any reports of flakes in a very long time. No, the record low is not 16. The record, I mean, are you talking about the all-time record? The all-time record, no, but I'm talking about the daily record for tonight. The daily records are in the upper 20s. We're not breaking all-time records. So that's the record for like the coldest since the 1800s, since record keeping began. So we're not breaking all-time records. There's a difference. Daily records though, for like tomorrow morning, that record's going to be broken. Melbourne right now, we're at 39. We're going to get down into the 20s. 26 is the forecast. Stang Ellie, is there something with the airport you mean? Or is there something with the is there something going on at the airport? Some kind of delays or whatever? We have the see, I have my airport delay map. So the Gulf effect snow, that's what was coming in earlier today. That's what was coming in. So that's what was trying to develop I think through about 4 o'clock, especially, I think through about 4 o'clock. Let me get my telestrator out. Through about 4 a.m. in this general area, maybe more like this with the way the wind is right now. Let me redraw that. I think in this general area, we could see a few more flakes come through. Because we still have that mechanism out there, the Arctic air over the warmer Gulf. We could see that kind of ramp up again a little bit. Don't think it's anything crazy. But at this time, yeah, I just like the wind direction is now is let me see. We got wind like that. We have wind coming out like that. So I mean, it's got to follow the wind direction now. So yeah, I really, really think you're pretty much done over here for any kind of flurries. Sebring tomorrow, I think that you're going to be back in. You're going to bottom out in the low to mid 20s tomorrow morning. The wind chill is going to be in the teens. I don't think that you are going to see any of the snow. The wind right now, it's oriented like that. It needs to be, for you, it's got to be more like this. And we really need to have a bigger fetch. The distance across at that point, because now we're only using this little bit. So, yeah, I don't think that Sebring's going to see it, but you're going to be pretty cold tomorrow. Of course, Kimberly, we'll be watching that for sure on Monday night. Let me know if you can join the show. By the way, guys, this has been a lot of fun, all things considered, as we are watching this cold and kind of watching it unfold together. I've got a show every night, 9:30, Monday through Friday, right here on this channel, where we talk about the weather. Every now and then, like tonight, the chat gets off the rails, so there's that little bit of entertainment that always comes with it. But on a serious side, we have a lot of fun with it. We get sciencey, we get into the meteorology, we get into all of that stuff as well. Of course, we go over the important stuff, the impacts, and we have some fun doing it. So if you found this content, this live stream helpful, or you were entertained some way, consider hitting that like button or the thumbs up button, whatever it's called. Or the subscribe button is what I'm trying to say. And again, I've got a show every night, 9:30 on the show here for watching on News 6 Plus and seeing this for the first time. Again, I'm here every night at 9:30. And of course, when the weather gets nasty, certainly a lot in the summertime to track our daily summertime thunderstorms as well. Into Polk County, we're going to get down into the low to mid 20s, the wind chill in the teens. Now, the puddle in front of your house, you might get a little bit of a thin layer of ice on it for sure. Okay, so now we've dipped 1 degree in Orlando. We are at 35 degrees as of 10 o'clock, 35 in Kissimmee. These are brand new temperatures, hot off the press. 31 in Ocala. We're at 33 in Palm Coast. Here are the current wind chills that we are seeing. 27, and the wind chill has now dropped to 23 in Ocala as well. If your backyard has some white stuff, it's probably not snow. I'd probably call the DEA, because there wouldn't have been that much. Just north of Bradenton, south of Tampa, there were some around that area today. They're the current wind gusts, still gusting near 40 in Melbourne. So there was some around the Bradenton area today already. I think there's just a very small chance for a couple of flurries in that area overnight. I don't think the Gulf effect is really coming in much. The main part of it was a couple of hours ago, but we still have that same mechanism. we would need it to come because the wind direction is kind of right this way now. So we need it to kind of survive over the bay like that. That's what you need. Alrighty, guys, I have to run. I have to go get ready for the 11 o'clock news. If you are in the greater Central Florida area, we are coming up tonight at 11. I'm going to have the latest modeling. I'm going to have the latest forecast when it comes to the cold that is settling in as we speak. That's blasting in and settling in as we wait. Okay, hold on. Still, snow flurries reported in Mineola back around 7:30. Okay, so we did get some in Mineola. Okay, nice, nice. I like that. No to snow, thumbs down to snow. Alrighty, guys. So again, greater Central Florida area, or even if you're not in Central Florida, you can download News 6 Plus. That is for free. That'll be on there as well. And again, of course, we're going to have all of this stuff going forward over the next couple of days. We're hanging out with you guys. We're here for you guys as we are tracking the cold, making sure there's no shenanigans coming with it, any kind of power outages and stuff like that. So we are on it. We're watching it closely as the temperatures drop, even though we kind of got off the rails a little bit. A serious situation again for our friends that may not have heat or certainly homeless. We're thinking about them. There are the shelters open as well. And if you yourself need heat or anything, we do have a list on clickorlando.com for everything else. I think the snow shot is pretty much over for Orlando and areas to the east. Just got a few flakes in Daytona Beach. Also Mineola, there may have been a little burst that came towards the executive airport. Burst is a relative term. They came over the airport just a little bit ago. Alrighty, guys. I will see you all at 11 Monday night at 9:30. We are back as well for the new show. If you are finding us for the first time, I'm here every night, Monday through Friday, 9:30. Join the show. Would love to have you on board. We talk about the weather, of course. Alrighty, guys. Thank you again for the conversation tonight. Thank you for all the storm reports, flurry reports that we had across Central Florida. And I'll catch you guys at 11 o'clock. Thanks, guys.